My name is Jacqueline Hernandez. I am a licensed professional counselor supervisor. I'm in private practice, and I am very excited to be volunteering for today's conference. I will be the event or this workshop facilitator, and I'd like to ask, first of all, if y'all would come to the front. Just, and it's an ask, but I'm not really asking. Just to create a more intimate space, this will be a panel session, so I think that the panelists would appreciate that level of proximity and intimacy as well. But I'd also like to mention that by now, you should each have received some sort of either a QR code or a link on your email to register for your CEUs. Just to clarify, you're going to do that process once. So if you've already done it, if you already answered all the questions, wonderful. Just make sure you kept track of the sessions you're going to be attending. If you do this at the end of the day, then just remember all of the sessions that you attended so that you can get credit for those sessions that have CEUs attached. You can get up to 4 CEUs for today. So does anybody have any questions about that? Yes. For both days, yes. It'll be one time for both days. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, because I think that's what I did. So yes, it'll be one time. Yeah, and don't expect these certificates to come out next week. We're going to give grace to the NAMI staff, because after this weekend, they probably might need to just decompress a little bit. So it'll take about 2 to 3 weeks for you to receive your certificates. If after the 3rd week you haven't got anything, I would definitely get back with them. But at the end of your QR or your survey questionnaire, it'll ask, do you want these responses sent back to you? I would say yes, because this way you can say, hey, I filled out my Survey Monkey. Can you please just check to see if I've got a certificate waiting for me somewhere? But yes.
We were not explained at the first session. They just told us to scan it and submit.
Right.
If I submit both, is that a problem? Or?
I don't think that'll be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would exactly, we didn't have that information at the first one. But I would say have the responses emailed back to yourself so that you have some kind of paper trail. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? I thank everybody for being here. So I would like to go ahead and pass this over to Ms. Olga.
Yes, and to Maria. Go ahead,
and
Maria.
to Maria. Well, take it away.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I hope y'all aren't too sleepy. I know after lunch, we tend to get a little wanting to go to sleep, but thank you for being here today. I want to introduce myself. My name is Olga Rodriguez. I am the Director of Education at NAMI, so I am so happy to be here today, and thank you once again for being present. Hello, my name is Maria Hoenigman. I'm with NAMI Greater San Antonio. I'm the Director of Support and Outreach. I'm excited that y'all are here. This is like a segue. This is a segue to our previous presentation. Previously, we had a presentation on how to start a conversation. So this is like the part 2 of what resources are out there for the Latino community. So we're very excited that you all are here, and we have some resource sheets that you could get at the end, and we have a wonderful panel that we're going to introduce in a little bit. So we're excited to have you here. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce the panelists. We have Ms. Veronica Salinas right over there. She was raised in Laredo, Texas, and has spent a large portion of her life there, even though she attended college in Austin, worked in Corpus Christi, and lived briefly in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Her son was diagnosed with bipolar disorder 20 years ago. He was 16 years old at the time. He was able to achieve stability and maintain stability until 2017. That means when he relapsed. At that time, Veronica moved to San Antonio because she was his full-time caretaker. She found NAMI and took a NAMI family-to-family class. She now teaches NAMI Family to Family in English and Spanish, and she facilitates a support group at St. Bridget's Catholic Church. Whew, that was a lot. I think she's doing more than me. So the panel is going to consist of people that have taken our signature classes, people that are either a loved one or a family member with someone with a mental health condition, and they're going to talk about their story, share their experiences, what resources helped them, and what resources have not helped them. So that's what we're going to do today. So then we have Oscar Garcia. So he put his lovely wife Juanita that teaches along with him. Juanita and Oscar are parents of a son who is afflicted with mental health illness. His lived experience began in 1999. Their son was diagnosed with a mental health illness at the age of 17. He experiences reoccurring episodes and has been in treatment and therapy for the last 24 years. Juanita and Oscar are both certified to teach NAMI Family to Family. And then, so that's Oscar. And then we have Sergio Salinas right here, our IT person as well. Just kidding. Sergio Salinas has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder when he was 16 years old in 2004. Back in the day, mental illness was not as talked about as it is today. He struggled with shame and feeling like he was the only one going through what he was going through. He doesn't have kids, but his parents also struggled to deal with his symptoms as they felt like this was uncharted territory. Fortunately, when he was hospitalized in August of 2004, the hospital staff and his psychiatrist found the correct dosage of medications that he's still on to this day and has worked wonders for him. He is doing a lot better today, and he will continue is continuing on the path of recovery. His role with NAMI San Antonio, he's an IOV presenter, which is called In Our Own Voice presenter, where he presents to community groups and he shares his story. He also presents to law enforcement, where he aims to better the way law enforcement responds to someone going through a mental health crisis. And being part of NAMI San Antonio has done wonders for his self-esteem, and it feels great to help others. And then we have Mr. James Van Duzer. He's 51 years old, or 51 years young. And has been dealing with mental health issues all of his life. A lot of it in denial. It wasn't until he realized that his life didn't have to be so difficult. If he accepted the diagnosis, that his life turned around. Once he accepted his diagnosis, his life turned around. In his late years, NAMI San Antonio has been there for him as a participant, as a peer-to-peer leader, and as an IOV presenter. NAMI has shown him that he is not alone. As a peer-to-peer leader, he has learned more from each and every class, and that by giving back, he must help someone have a better life and lessen their struggles. So these are our dynamic speakers. We'll be asking them some questions. And one thing I have to tell you about all these speakers right here, they do all this for free. They teach for free. They volunteer their time because NAMI made a difference to their lives, but also like the resources that they've received out in the community. So please give them your attention, a round of applause, because they deserve that and more. So thank you so much.
Well, thank God for Sergio. He got it going. With persistence, we're able to do a lot of things. Now, again, I am so proud of them. Since I am the Director of Education, Maria, Director of our Outreach and Support, this is our facilitators. These are our leaders, and we're so proud of the work that they do in the community with families. And today, we have some questions for them. Let me not take too much time because our time goes really quick. So I do have some questions for them, and let me start with Sergio. Okay, Sergio, who are you showing up? Who are you here for? Who are you showing support for?
Does this?
Yes, yes, they all work.
So really, I'm showing support for myself because I don't have any kids, and really, it's like me that has like so I was diagnosed with bipolar when I was 15. So really, I'm the one that's going through the mental health journey.
Thank you. James, who are you here to show support for?
Like Sergio, I'm here to support myself, but also all of you. Oftentimes with bipolar depression, you feel isolated and you feel like you're the only one with this, and you kind of feel the stigma and shame. So I want to stand up here and show you that it doesn't have to be that way. You can be productive, you can have a happy lifestyle. It's not going to be great, it's not going to be, everything's not going to be rainbows and teddy bears, but it can be better if you apply some of the things that we teach in our classes. So hopefully those things can make your life a little more better in the long run.
Oscar, the same question for you.
Well, thank you all for being here, but I'm doing it for our son and also for others that we may encounter in our journey, and of course for ourselves, because we needed self-care when we were down and out, and that's what got us to where we're at, the self-care we got through NAMI and other formats.
So I also started this journey for my son Sergio 20 years ago when he was about 16 years old. But since then, Sergio has been stable and stuff, and now I find myself continuing to be involved in NAMI because I have met so many people that are in crisis, so many caregivers that are in crisis the way I was 20 years ago, where I did not know where to turn. So I continue doing it because of that.
How long have you been doing this?
20 years.
Wow.
A little bit more than 20 years. Sergio must have been 15 or 16 at that time. We started 20 years. Lost, completely lost, thinking mental illness does not happen to my family. I went to college, Sergio's an Eagle Scout, he's an altar server. I just thought, no, God, you've got this wrong.
My mother.
Yes. I thought, no, you've got this wrong, And so I didn't want to believe it. And so now when I'm doing our classes all the time, and when I see parents still in that stage of denial or crisis, so to speak, we get it. We completely get it. They don't even have to say a word, right, Oscar?
Yes, ma'am.
Oscar and I are in the same support group, and it's like, but in my yes, I get it,
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being. And you're going to hear a lot of truth, a lot of transparency here, because we're family. And this is what our classes are about.
Right.
We're being very transparent on our journeys. So I appreciate that. Second question, what are some of the barriers that you had to face, Sergio?
So really quick, I do want to add, definitely, that's why I'm here, to provide support for others as well, just like, especially with doing the In Your Own Voice and the presentations, just that one person that's saying that, like, that's come up to me saying I'm not alone is just gratifying, especially getting those, like, their reactions when I do presentations. It's a great feeling. So the barriers for me, honestly, is when, like, I'll have friends, like, calling me when I'm trying to, like, pull away from that sabotaging behavior, going out to bars and staying up late, and I have friends calling me like, hey, let's hang out, like, and sometimes, like, I fall back into old ways because, like, sometimes I feel like I lack the self-discipline to say no, and so those are definitely barriers. Also, I feel living alone, because I do live alone. I support myself, but sometimes I feel when I lived with my parents, it was easier to have that structure to to get to bed early, do the things that I need to do to move forward. But sometimes, definitely, I feel living alone is, is a barrier to me. Like, having a self-discipline to have to like go to bed early, for example, and have to try to improve my behavior.
Okay, well, thank you. James, what about yourself? What are some of the barriers that you face?
Cultural barriers. I'm Filipino Dutch American, and on both sides of my family, we didn't talk about this kind of stuff. You had it, and you better shut up. You can't tell anybody. It wasn't until my grandmother passed away that I found out that her sister, and I was in my 20s at this point, that her sister was committed. She became a ward of the state of New Jersey for schizophrenia. I had no clue. And so without having to talk to anyone about it, it just exacerbated the whole problem. And so it made things worse because I had to bottle everything up and then I would explode. So definitely, cultural barriers, because things like this weren't talked about.
How many of you can raise your hand? Cultural can be one of the barriers.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Oscar?
Yeah, and ditto, culture, keep it all to yourself. I mean, we never let it out, and Juanita and I did that when we started our journey because, for one, we didn't know better, and nobody else could understand the ailment, and so we kept it to ourselves. And so as time went on, of course, the stigma that was associated with it, of course, that's changed through the years. We're talking about this in '99 and some people before that. So it was early on. What our blessing really was is our PCP is the one that actually diagnosed our son. When we first noted symptoms, we took him to him, and right away, I mean, he immediately said he's got bipolar, and that's the first time I heard the term, so I didn't even know what it was. And he gave us three, I guess, words of wisdom that told us, he says, first of all, it's not his fault, nor is it not your fault either. He says, and whenever he goes through an ailment or an episode, it's not him, it's the illness. It says, and it's going to be a lifelong journey. It's not going to end next year, it's going to be lifelong. And then the other thing he said is, you'll be blamed. People are going to try to blame you, and it's not your fault or his. So it helped us to understand because we got some of that. But the other thing that we encountered was the bureaucracy in the system once our son was in it. A lot of bureaucracy trying to navigate the court systems, the legal system in itself. The jail is like a quagmire. Of course, in the mental health system in itself. But the thing behind it that we've learned is not to stop with I can't help you, you find somebody else, you keep going. To keep that hope is what helped us.
I think that the hardest barrier for me was, Sergio was a junior in high school when he was first diagnosed. And I had, like Oscar, had never heard of bipolar disorder and knew for sure that my kid could personally have mental illness. I mean, that was the hardest thing for me to accept. But once I came to acceptance and we had a psychologist and psychiatrist, the school, the barrier was the school, the high school, the local high school in Laredo, who immediately, they pulled him out of the regular classroom and pulled him in a self-contained unit. And so immediately he was changed from what was regular school into special education. And then Sergio was always very active in his track team and was very good at track and very good in cross country. My husband being an ex-coach, I mean, this is just something that they did for their lives. And the school told us that he could not participate. He could no longer attend track meets. My husband at that point almost had a heart attack, that he couldn't go to track meets because they told us that it would be too dangerous for the kids on the school bus, the people that were going to the meet. And I remember fighting, like Oscar, well, I'll take him, my son will take him, I'm sorry, my husband will take him. He is going to participate, and just having to put our foot down like Oscar and getting letters from the doctor that he could participate and that he could go and that he could have a graduation, right? I don't even know if you were supposed to have a graduation. Anyway, the high school decided they gave us an ultimatum. He was a junior and the ultimatum was you either graduate him early as a junior or he will be in the self-contained unit the following year. And I made the decision to graduate him early, at which point Sergio did not understand the decision we made, and he was very angry about it at that time. That, for me, was the hardest part, the fighting with the school district. That was really difficult.
And we call that what, advocating, right?
Yes, yeah.
Advocating for your loved one.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I'm saying about how now, whenever we have people within our support group or within our classes, that are going here, now we're lived experience. And I know Oscar and I always say this, we're not psychiatrists, we're not psychologists, we're not therapists. we're lived experience, so.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Our next question is, what encouraged you, Sergio, to get support?
So definitely, I want to say my support system. I mean, definitely like my mom. I mean, if anybody's on me about making sure I'm on the right path, it's my mom. Definitely, I know. Pretty much, I feel like the saying is, you get tired of being sick and tired. Like Tony Robbins says, for those of you that follow Tony Robbins, the pain becomes greater than the pleasure of whatever it is that you're doing, and you just ready for that change. Also, like I mentioned, just getting tired of being sick and tired, getting tired of the consequences of the sabotaging behavior. Like I know, like just when I go out with my friends and all the crazy stuff that happens past 12 midnight or downtown and all that stuff, just getting tired of all those consequences and you just get forced to get ready for change. I know something recently that I did is I'm doing my IT, the A+ certification, joined the class with Empower. And they actually called me, and I feel like when we're ready, like to take those next steps, things just move out of the way. And the recruiter actually accepted me into the program and stuff. And but I felt like I was ready. I'm ready to pursue those next steps and get my like A+ and move forward with my IT like career and all that. But definitely just getting tired of the sabotaging behavior and just being ready to move forward is I think what. Is one of the things that, like you mentioned.
Yes, and no one was making you do stuff, right? It was something that you
Exactly.
had to
Oh,
decide.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, when I'm ready, that for sure.
And that's important for all of us to hear, is whenever you were ready. James, how about yourself?
So, like Sergio, I encouraged myself because just like him, I got sick and tired of being in the psych unit so many times. And it was really eye-opening when the housekeeping lady recognized me. And that was embarrassing, and that was also encouraging because it led me to realize that what I'm doing is not working, so I have to change. And like when she was reading the little bio, I was in denial a lot, right? And so that brought me out of my state of denial. The fact that it wasn't just at that particular psych unit. That psych unit is Bergen Regional Medical Center in New Jersey, and they have 5 adult psych units. And my other 2 haunts were Hackensack University Medical Center and Ramapo Ridge Psychiatric. And I realized they know me by name also. So just like Sergio, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I got sick and tired of, the same routine of being in psych unit, going to an outpatient, getting a job, working for a little while, being stable, then end up in the hospital again and again and again and again. So when, I know it sounds funny, the housekeeping lady was the one, the psychiatrist, the therapist, they weren't the ones that talked me out of my denial. It was the housekeeping lady. Wow. So, yeah, that was my aha moment where I turned my life around.
So unexpected, right? Thank you. Oscar?
Well, for us, it was just, I guess, trying to do it on our own. And the last episode, which was in 2022, was the most severe of all. Each one progressively got worse. And this was the most grandiose one. And it broke us. And we were numb, we were in despair, we were hopeless. And through our church, we were led through the grace groups, which give mental health support. And from there, we found out also about NAMI. And we became family-to-family attendee students, and then became facilitators. So from those programs itself, we learned about self-care that started turning our lives around, because before we just tried to do it on our own with what we knew how to do. And we just kept doing life, working and doing all those things. And finally, when we were both retired and this episode happened, we were just like stunned. And we've never been like that because we were always active. And so we needed self-care at that time. That's why we got support.
Well, I always tried to look for resources. I'm talking 20 years ago. I belonged to other support groups. Like I extend my little biography, we lived in Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada. Sergio lived with us there for about a year and a half. And so I always had a lot of different resources, and I found a lot of resources. My problem was never me not finding resources, because I'm a trained social worker, so I could find resources anywhere. My problem was exactly what Sergio and James have said. I wanted to fix him. And I couldn't understand if I was, leading this horse to the water, why the hell he was not drinking, Because I got him support groups, I got him a psychiatrist, I got him a psychologist. How many have you had? 10, 20? I don't remember. 20 psychologists. I mean, I'm serious. Wow. So maybe this one because it's a girl, maybe this one because it's a boy, maybe this one because it's a man, maybe this one because he's gay, maybe this one because he's, And so that was my big lesson. My big lesson was, lady, let it go. James will do it when James wants to do it. Sergio will do it when Sergio wants to do it. That was my big aha moment. And my aha moment was not finding a specific resource. My aha moment was, you have done what you have done. Let go of the guilt, let go of the anger. This kid will find his way.
And honestly, I think that's an issue that we have is when, like, she feels that I should be up here and I'm still down here, and I'm like,
Absolutely.
I'll be, like, when I'm ready, but like, she gets frustrated that I'm not up here already. So.
Well, you can have gone to 30 support groups and nobody stops you from being a mom.
That's right.
I still got the little sandwich for him and his water bottle. And I asked you, the first thing I asked you right before, have you gone to the bathroom? The child is 37. Give it a break, woman.
That's beautiful.
Exactly.
That's beautiful to see both perspectives of parent and then the peer, the person, right?
Right.
As the child.
And that's a good point, because the classroom my wife and I had, she's being a mom and I being a dad, we handle things differently.
Yes,
and
yes.
Logically and emotionally.
Right.
And so now we use that as togetherness, where I coach and she talks.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I coach her and she talks to the boy. Because if not, it won't work very well.
Right.
My boy likes directness, so sometimes I do that.
And your boy is how old, Oscar?
He's 40-some, 40, yeah.
I rest my case.
Yeah.
I rest my case.
But a mom's a mom, and so I mean, and as a dad, you have to learn to respect that. But they have to learn on their own.
I agree.
Accept
That's the hardest lesson. That's so difficult.
Yeah.
We can go to all these trainings, and you guys can tell, the psychiatrist would tell me, the psychologist would tell me, he does it, okay. Sweetie, have you did it? Oh.
Yep. You want to chew the food for them?
Right. Can I cut your food? Exactly.
And sometimes you may have the support of your family, and sometimes you don't. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the family has decided, I don't want nothing to do with you because, we've tried everything and they've given up on you. But it's beautiful to hear. Were y'all on the same page, husband and wife, with mental health? Was it, were y'all both on the same page and saying, yeah, we're going to get the help, or did one seek help first, or?
In my case, my husband has been in law enforcement for 32 years or so he was a supervisor at the port of entry in Laredo. And so I would always tell him, dude, you can arrest Osama bin Laden. Why the hell can't you handle a teenager? So, no, my husband comes from a law enforcement, stop, sit, go to school, that kind of stuff. And I was always the one that finding a way around him, so no.
And even culture.
Right.
The culture's big.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That tells us just be quiet, don't talk about it. I know last year we had La Ropa Sucia Se Lava en Casa, your dirty clothes, you don't air it out.
Right.
Don't talk about it. Right? Sergio, so we're going to our fourth question. What are some of the resources that you obtained during your journey that helped you?
So definitely what has helped me is the support groups. I attend a support group on Monday nights with the DBSA. They meet at 7 p.m. at the San Antonio Clubhouse every Monday, even during the holidays, even on Christmas. That has helped me just to meet like-minded people and knowing that I'm not alone. Also, my best friend, Melissa, we talk pretty much every day, just she knows what I'm going through, and it's just a huge difference compared to, especially living alone, just having her to talk to, and I feel like she understands what I'm going through, and I feel like I could be myself around her. Definitely my support system. I mean, I know you mentioned that how important it is to support system. I don't know how people do it when they don't have family and a support system. I mean, I'm sure there's other ways, like your therapist and your case manager, other ways, or best friends, but definitely it's the most important thing has been my support system, of course, my mom. And definitely NAMI as well. I think NAMI has been tremendous for my self-esteem. I mean, I love going to the general meetings, or even yesterday when we had the dinner, and just getting, just get really happy to see me and everything, and just getting that feedback and that warm welcome from NAMI, and just it's definitely, NAMI has definitely done wonders for my self-esteem as well.
Would you have ever thought in your whole life that you would be doing what you're doing now? Speaking out about mental health and...
No, I never would have, just because it was always one of those things, because I talked to my friend Melissa, and she pretty much just goes to work. I see it in my support group as well, that many people, in my situation, just go to work and they sleep their days off, and, they're just at home. My friend just watches movie after movie. She'll be like, oh, I watched Jaws, or oh, I watched Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park 2, and I could see how that's not gratifying for her. I know back in a couple of years ago, before, when my parents lived in Laredo, I also was like that, where I was working full time, but it wasn't I wasn't fulfilled. I mean, I was just working, and going out with friends wasn't fulfilling. But now giving back and especially getting that feedback that I feel like I'm helping somebody, it's has made a huge difference in my self-esteem, I feel.
Thank you. James, what about yourself? What are some of those resources?
Okay, so remember I said life's not all rainbows and teddy bears? Right, so ever hear of Bexar County Mental Health Court number 12? Yeah, I graduated. 28 days in jail, and then they came to me and they put me in a one-year-long program. So yes, most definitely, if you ever find yourself in legal trouble, when you get processed into the Bexar County Jail, they'll give you a physical assessment, and then they will ask you if you need a mental health assessment. Definitely say yes, because someone from the mental health court will come to see you. So after that, I was released and homeless. So I was at PCY. They call that the Public Courtyard at Haven for Hope. And at the time, that was run by Center for Healthcare Services. And so I spent 3 months in the public courtyard, and then I got an opportunity to go into Center for Healthcare Services program on the members side called the Wellness Program. They used to have 2 separate programs called Wellness, and then the other one was the IHRP, the In-House Recovery Program, but they've combined it. So now it's called the ITP, Integrated Treatment Program. So yes, graduated that also. Center for Healthcare, when I was going through both programs, they gave me a psychiatrist, and I was able to get back on my medications. They were able to give me a therapist also, as well as a case manager. And so anything that I needed or that I wanted or that I needed to know was, passed down along to me through them. So that was a big help. But while at Haven for Hope, I took a NAMI peer-to-peer class, and I liked it so much that at the end of the class, when my facilitator, Michelle Mata, who's been doing that for since time began, she let me know that there would be trainings and opportunities to become a teacher, a facilitator, I definitely jumped at that, took the training, became a peer-to-peer leader, and I have to say, I really enjoy that because I learn from every class, because each class is different, because there's different people and there's different experiences. So I might learn a resource or a technique or a therapy or something, from someone. I've noticed that a lot of the classes have to do with certain diagnoses, and when I have OCD, types of OCD. And when someone shared that with me, I almost broke down and cried because they have the same problem with numbers that I do. So that was, eye-opening, because through most of the classes, no one ever talks about OCD. And so that was something that was eye-opening. And then when I learned about the In Our Own Voice presentations, I jumped at the opportunity to get trained at that, because during my stories in IOV, I tell them that I use IOOV as a treatment for my anxiety, because it's like a combination of immersion and exposure therapy. So my anxiety isn't just random, it's appropriate. Like today, I had anxiety, I didn't fight it, right? So those are some of the resources. Haven for Hope, Center for Healthcare, NAMI, definitely, the Bexar County Mental Health Court, the Bexar County Mental Health Police, and obviously the San Antonio Mental Health Police also have been great resources for me.
Thank you. Y'all been great though, so despite the anxiety, you fought through it.
Well, like I told them before, I'm nearsighted, so that helps, because you're all
Oh, my. Well, for us, of course, our cornerstone has been our faith in God and our church community, and of course, the NAMI family, and all the affiliates, like Family to Family, the family support groups at NAMI, even our monthly meetings, you connect with people and create your own community and your own support from that, just from conversations with people. Sometimes you make them, put them at ease, or they put you at ease. And like even in a class, sometimes there's a lot of commonalities that we share. It might not be the same experience, but there's a commonality. Of course, the jail ministry was a big blessing to us, because when our son was incarcerated, and it was again through NAMI where we met these people through a stand-up kiosk they had, and we met the pastors. One was a deacon and one was the jail chaplain, and so they actually talked to our son. So that was a blessing in itself. And even up to this day, my son is using one of them as a referral for his application and employment. So we've been blessed all around. So where we're now, and it's a lot of resources and all those things combined that you get from and provide to others as well. Mm-hmm. So it's been a blessing all around.
And what do you teach?
I do family to family. We do family to family, mm-hmm. but also through our church, we're learning to become facilitators. We have to go through a track of theirs that they require to also hopefully facilitate either in the mental health side, maybe something with marriage, or see where the Lord guides us in that area. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, we're actually trying to, because our church is growing and they're having other campuses, mm-hmm. is in one of our affiliated campuses, maybe teach the NAMI to NAMI course there. Mm-hmm. Eventually. Mm-hmm. But so that's a goal and the intent. So we're in the midst of getting facilitator training through our church as well.
Thank you. Veronica?
Well, I've had a lot of resources also, like Oscar. The main thing that I could say is just look, ask, and listen all the time, mm-hmm. all the time. I started with DBSA, which was depression. Sergio, help me out with that.
Depression and bipolar support alliance. That's
yes.
where I go to my support group.
Yes, I started with them 20 years ago, and they would send a little questionnaire, and they would send it by mail. Everything was mail back then. There was no internet or anything, and that's how I started getting information with them. And had been to a lot of support groups. But then when Sergio relapsed in 2017, which I never thought was going to happen, I lived in Laredo full-time, and I had a fulfilling career and marriage and everything, and it was important that I come stay with him. And I came here and I didn't know any of the resources here in San Antonio, and I said, there's got to be something under mental health. And I remember just kind of Googling, and that's how I found NAMI in 2017. And I found the wonderful Verna, who had the answers to everything.
She's right there, Miss NAMI.
Woo! Yes, the wonderful Verna. And I immediately, she says, it sounds like you could benefit from a family-to-family class. And it's like, what is it? But whatever it was, she registered me. I went to the class and became a facilitator and have excellent friends. Maria's one of them, where, you just becomes a family, right, Oscar? Now we have belong to the same support group, and it just becomes a family. You call each other, how is he, what happened, what did the doctor say,
And we graduated from the same high school.
Yes, right.
Yeah, no, I feel that's contributed to my mental health as well. Like my better mental health is just having those experiences and being here, and it's definitely has contributed to my better my mental health.
Right.
Wonderful. It's so good. It is a blessing. I'm a woman of faith, so I use blessing because to have them as panelists here today and for them to be very open and to share their journey. That's the reason why, we wanted simplifying your journey, and also what are the resources that they've used. NAMI, of course, I'm always going to be the advocate for NAMI because that's where I'm at. And I love NAMI. I took the family to family with Oscar and his wife. And boy, even though I am the director of education, I went in there, not with the hat of director, I went in there as a family member. And guess what? I would cry, I would laugh. I was able to see how people were walking into that classroom like this. They were walking in like they didn't even want to look at it because they were embarrassed, or they were like, don't want to be here. Like someone's making me be here. And what happened at the very end, Oscar?
Oh my God. Well, there's 4 people that were in our class here in attendance today.
Yes.
So yes.
And it becomes a family.
It does.
You find out that you're not alone in this journey. You're not alone. And I was so appreciative because, again, you walk in thinking you know what this class is about. So even though I'm director of education, I'm advocating, I'm pushing the classes because I took it and I understand, and it gave me the tools that I needed to be able to help my family member. First we would think, again, culture, you think, oh, he's lazy, he's just doesn't want to work and all this stuff. But when you go through the class, you learn the language. You can be the trigger to your loved one.
Absolutely.
So what am I doing? I'm trying to fix that member, my loved one. I can't do it. It's like what you were saying, right? We can't fix the situation, your mental health condition. But as parents, as family members, we want to. But we have to learn that we can do it. They have to want to do it themselves. So, all right, our time is going by. Maria, real quick, you want to?
Yeah, I'm just going to talk about the resources. So, wow, I was like in tears over here. They're amazing. I love you guys all. They were very welcoming when I started with NAMI here. So it's just a pleasure hearing them, just hearing about their journeys and stuff. It's eye-opening, and I love learning from them and stuff. I come with the counseling background, and what I've learned when I've heard every single person speak, it's bigger than that education I went and got. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm just saying it's bigger than that. I've learned so much. But what I wanted to share is if you have any more questions, concerns about, I'm going to put him on the spot, about resources, you could call. Here's our director of the Warm Line. He has a team of Will. Look Will up. He has a team of it used to be just Verna and another person, and now we have a team that man, I love hearing them in the morning where they're like positive affirmations and everything, and they're the ones that take the calls if you're like not sure what your loved one needs, or you're the person living with a mental health condition, because we try to meet how they spoke. We try to meet everyone where they're at. The family member might be ready, but the loved one isn't, but still get help. The loved one might be ready, but the family member isn't, but still get help. So here are like all our classes, but please call the warm line. Call the warm line, spread that number, call them, and if you're confused, if you just want to cry, call the warm line. I think last time she called the warm line, I called the warm line. We're like, can we call the warm line? We just need to, like, we're having a moment. But it's just very impactful. It's a kind person answering the phone. That's the hardest thing to do, is make that first phone call and reach out. So you don't want somebody answering rudely. It's very kind individuals, bilingual, answering the phone. So, yes, Norma?
What's the number to the warm line?
210-734-3349. Okay, sorry. It was like interview mode. It's 210-734-3349. The only reason I don't want you all to really memorize it, because we might switch it, so I don't want to like.
Do you have people to help people who only speak Spanish?
Yes, somos bilingües. Somos bilingües, si hay bilingües, si no, yeah, like estamos nosotros, pero hay como dos personas, 2 people that are bilingual, so yes. So yeah, like please call us, and how I said, we'll meet people, on the table here, as promised, we have La Familia the family to family in Spanish, and then we also have a family support group virtual. We partner with Guadalupe County, and it's led by family members with mental health conditions, family members of loved ones with mental health conditions. It's led by them, so they know, they understand, they get it. So there's that one. It's in Spanish right now. It's virtual, but we're hoping to have it in person. And then we have a list of resources that the beautiful warm line did for us. It's in Spanish and English, so it's resources that speak Spanish, that will be able to help an individual that is Spanish speaking. So please come and take these. They're gold. We're not going to print any more of these. I'm just kidding. No, but they're gold, and please take them. Take as many as you want. And just letting you know, thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing this presentation and choosing to help others and choosing to get informed and educated. We appreciate you. Little shout out to Maria, also one of our teachers. So it's just, please, if you have any questions. Do you have a question?
The family-to-family support groups, what different types of diagnoses are they supporting?
Any type. You don't, let me tell you, NAMI 101. So with the classes and support groups, 3 things to remember. You don't have to be diagnosed in order to get help. The model helps with any type of diagnosis. It's free. They're all free, and they're virtual or in person. So, and we meet people where they're at. So how we said, the loved one's not ready, then this one is ready. We meet people where they're at. So you don't have to have any specific diagnosis. You could just have warning signs. So for the family to family, it's for family members, caregivers, loved ones, for adults 18 and over. And then for basics, it's for parents and caregivers of children 22 and under. You're going to see that there's an overlap, but the reason for the overlap is because we know the brain develops later in life. Sometimes the warning signs are when kids are in elementary, middle school, and we would recommend basics for that. But sometimes people leave to college or leave their home or turn 18. Brains develop from 18 to 25 still, so they have their first symptoms at that age, so we recommend family to family. So, but if you're not sure, we'll have that conversation with you. The warm line we answer the phone too. We'll have that conversation with you and kind of connect you to what is the right one. And then we have Homefront and family to family. Homefront is for family members of military. So there's some resources for the military, but this is for family members of military. So Homefront, 18 and over. And peer-to-peer is what James talked about, and it's for someone living with a mental health condition 18 and over. So And the family support groups are for anybody 18 and over. Right now, we have the BIPOC group, we have, which is Black, Indigenous, people of color. I haven't slept that much. I was like up and like people of color. So we have the BIPOC group, and then we have a young adult group, 18 to 30. We have an over 40 group. We have a co-occurring group. We have a general mental health. So if you don't fall into any of those categories, and we're more than happy to do any group that people are interested in, because the model is great for any type of group. So we're developing a family support group for parents of young children, which is much needed. The facilitators are trained and they're ready to go. We're just setting times and days. We're waiting for pathways to pass. And then the Spanish support group online. And then we have the bilingual one that Veronica does. So can't forget that one.
Right. Ours is faith-based, out of St. Bridget's, the one that Maria, myself, and Oscar attend.
Yes. So we have something for everyone. And if we don't have it and you're like, man, I wish there was, come talk to us and we'll develop it, we'll train you. We not just anybody could get trained too, but we do interviews, we make sure where you are in your recovery, and it's peer-led. So.
Really quick, I wanted to mention, so if you go to our website, it's actually, all the information is posted on the flyers and the warm line as well. If you go under calendar, there's actually, it'll show there it'll show there like all the.
We don't pay him for this.
It'll show there all the events that are like the family classes and all the like NAMI spot, like NAMI, like she mentioned family and the support groups and all that stuff that's coming up. So.
And if you really like the appetizers that they get, these were appetizers of their journeys. Like James and Sergio are like, I always like I'm like, I need to go to watch them present. Like I'm putting it in my schedule and they're like, where are you going? I'm like, I need to go watch them again. Every time they share their story, it's something different and I'm in awe of them. I'm in awe of both of you. Like, I'm like, you actually could have a chance to go watch them online. Go to Bridges to Care in our website. It has a calendar and they do it once a month. It might not be them too, but we could tell you who it is and you could go watch them. Any person actually being vulnerable and taking time to share their experience, you'll love it. Just letting you know. It's free and online.
All right, well, we've come to the end. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And please come and get the resources that we have here at the table. And we will have our last.
The very last thing I want to mention is tied together. One is that as many of you might be the support system for that loved one, as much as you can be that support system, you can also be a trigger. So how you approach this information is very, very critical, okay? And with that, I'll end with this. Right out of Scripture, one of the times that Jesus appeared to his disciples after he had been resurrected, he saw them fishing, and they'd fished all night long, and they hadn't caught anything. And the Lord says to them, throw your net on the other side, on the right side of the boat, okay? And when they did that, it took one time, and they yielded more fish than they could possibly carry back to shore. And all this to say that sometimes what you've been doing isn't working. So you got to do it another way, right? And so today you were presented with all these other ways to approach that. So just be mindful of yourself, have that self-awareness to understand that perhaps the way you've been doing something, the reason it's not working is because you need to do something else. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day.